report your CEO and all that. So you want to ensure that your format of reporting is suitable for the stakeholder you're reporting to. Some stakeholders will tell you, make it clear. I've heard people say that. It's too long, make it clear and precise. But some stakeholders will say, make it detailed. Pre-trade express highlighted that. So you want to ensure that you are reporting in the format that is required by the stakeholder that needs it. So it looks like you are having a difficulty with a particular stakeholder. It looks like that stakeholder is difficult to manage. Sometimes you just need to know what the stakeholder wants and give it to them that way. This is just a bit of extra. So what's the next thing under weekly management? Can we see it? Plan responses for deviations. So for this method to tell us that we should plan responses for deviations, what is certain? What is certain? It's trying to tell us that deviation is certain. So it means deviation is things not going according to plan. It's very short. My mentor will always say, my project management mentor will say, Faith, projects will not go as planned. We never always go as planned. So if you think that everything is set, Rockpay is doing well as a sponsor, you are doing well as a project manager, this children party is going to be awesome. Exactly. So some things will go wrong. So that's why, what are we dealing with? Weekly management, right? So every week, you want to check for deviations and now start planning towards them. The bag of rice has increased by 2K. What are we going to do? Since we cannot ask for more money, the budget has been approved. So what are we going to do? So the earlier you are able to, if you say, don't worry, we still have money, it is when you are already maybe 80% and looks like the money left cannot cover anything. It's already too late by then. So, but if you start addressing the issue at the beginning, like every week, that way the problem is still easy to solve than when it's already much, right? So let's move. Under planning for deviation, let's go. So based on time, based on cost, are we still on track with the time? If we say week 1, we should have reached out to the sponsors. We should have reached out to the vendors. The vendors should have confirmed that they are coming. The photographers, I know this is a church, so maybe all of that is readily available. But for an organization whereby you need to book time with the photographers, with the vendors and all that, every week you want to check, are we still on track with time? Are we still on track with cost and all that? So you want to respond to all of those deviations early enough. So let's move. Let's go faster now. So let's go back a bit. So remember, we have a schedule, we have follow-up items like your risk that you're planning for. So every week you want to find out, are we still on track with our risk and our responses for the risk, right? So let's move. Are we still together? Hey everyone, let's go back. Hey everyone, how do you think we can recover from this deviation? Now, this slide is very clear, right? So as a project manager, who can give me a deviation that can happen for this party? Maybe like this week now. We still have 2 more weeks, have we? What can happen now that can be a deviation, that can be termed as a deviation? I'm trying to think. Who wants to try? Prices? That would be unfair, but that's true. He said prices of vendors can change, but can that work in this scenario since the vendors are all church members? They're not all church members. They're okay. They have their own business. So it's true because they can tell you, I'm going to cook this food for 50K. Oh, that's my workmanship, whatever. And true, maybe that's what it is. But for some reasons, things change and person come, I can't collect 50K or le shema. Do you understand? 70K. So you want to go back to your team, gather inside, everybody come on. The vendor wants to collect 70K. How do we want to sort that? Do we want to raise that from our own pocket? Do we want to take it from the budget? If you touch the budget, I don't want to say OT law, but I'll say. So it is very important to gather crowd from the, wisdom from the crowd. So let's see. So you want to also kick off at this point. So whatever you've planned for, you've done one, you've measured your performance, you've planned for deviations. So you want to kick off your weekly cycle. Okay, guys, we are ready to start. So let's move. So this kickoff, if you notice, if you've been paying attention, it occurred like 3 times. This under initiation, monthly initiation, project initiation, and now it's happening at weekly management. So let's move. So it is at this point every week, you want to ensure that you are encouraging your team to limit work in progress. I'm trying to see if it will work for this kind of project scenario. So in a project scenario, there's a tendency that your team members, maybe they are trying to meet up with time. They are now starting so many things at the same time. I don't know if you get. So instead of doing one and finishing it, doing another one and finishing it, they are starting this one, and they are not finishing anyone. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. That's what it means, work in progress. So P3 Express emphasizes that as a project manager, every week, you want to ensure that you are measuring things and saying, you are checking that all the things that are supposed to be done, they are being completed. You want to check for that, and if you see that, a lot of things have started, and nothing is being completed, you want to bring the team to order. Every week, you want to do that. Did you remember my illustration of a roadmap? So can you see it is literally a roadmap. If you have this guide, if you have this method, understanding, maybe you have it written down. I have a book that summarizes. Let's read that. Let's go back. Let's see what we missed. So only for team members, and so you want to do it with your team members, right? So we can move now. What is happening again, everybody? You want to ensure that you are conducting a focused communication. Let's move. Very important. Let's move again. Hey, everyone. The following is our plan for the upcoming week. So this week, this is what we are doing. So you might want to say that all this thing is too technical. Is it not just a children party? When things go wrong, you know it's not just an ordinary children party. So you want to ensure that for every week, you want to say, team, this is what we are working on this particular week. You want to announce it. Then let's go. That will be all for our weekly management. So at this point, I'd like us to take a chill pill. We have daily management, monthly closure, project closure, and post-project management left. But before we go ahead into daily management, I want you to talk to somebody beside you, maybe 2 people, and tell them something that you know now that you did not know before this training. Did you get it? So think, something that you know now that would help you manage a project better that you did not know before this training. So you can stand up, or it's like icebreaker. I want you to just move around. So we have 5 minutes for this section. If you are not talking to anybody, you are wrong. Yes, move around. 5 minutes. What did you say? Okay. So 5 minutes, you have 5 minutes to move around. What did you say? Okay. My host, do you want to do anything with this 5 minutes? Make sure you're talking to somebody.
Now come on.
Okay, so can we come together? I'm going to know if some people spoke to people about what they learned. Can we go ahead? Okay. So we're going to get started in few seconds. So, Ma, who did you meet? What did she say stood out for her, or what did she say she didn't know before? Where's the mic? Where's our mic?
Hallelujah.
She said she learned that a sponsor is different from a project
Manager. She didn't know that before, I mean. Okay, thank you. Please, can you pass the mic to him? Not to you. Who you spoke to?
Okay. I spoke to Shewa.
Chidera. Okay.
Shewa.
Shewa, okay.
And she said one thing she picked out was going into details, like each detail for project management and not just starting and running on vibes.
Mm-hmm, great. Did you meet anybody?
I met myself.
Okay. What did you know now that you did not know before?
Okay, so I think is we now understand why some things are being done. So I don't think we used to have in our projects we never used to identify risk beforehand and give potential possible responses to them. So this has given an idea, and also it will help us because we see some things happen. So we see that we can actually plan
Prevent
for them,
it, yes.
prevent them.
Awesome. So one last person. Did you talk to somebody? The person you talked to, what did the person say?
The person I talked to, we spoke about masters actually.
I didn't hear that.
We spoke about MBA, not
Ah.
project management.
So what did you know now? What did you learn now that you did
Okay.
not know before?
For me though, usually we always have projects going on.
Okay.
And then sometimes I don't understand why we have to do weekly meetings. You know, that's like, I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
Once my phone starts beeping, I'm like, oh, for the body to deal sake. So now I'm understanding that okay, there are some daily management, weekly management, and all that. And then about the risk also. Recently, I noticed that risk is in about two ways. We have positive risk and then we have negative risk, and risk as a whole has about 4 stages.
Okay.
So I'm always of the opinion that whenever a project is starting, I always want to see it from kini ile daru.
You want to see it from?
From kini ile daru or kini ma daru.
Okay, okay. I love that.
We always have these people coming in like, no, be positive, be this thing. So actually, but now I see that no, it's a thing to always see that okay, everybody's going this way, and somebody just feel like all of what we are all doing. For instance, when Pastor was saying,
Can you put the mic?
Water. What was he saying? Was saying that now I was thinking about if
And if you notice, for our monthly and weekly, our weekly management, you want to plan for those things. So don't just think of them. Plan for them. How can we prevent them? And there are some that you can't prevent. Are we listening? There are some that you can't, like, stop from happening. Give me an example of that. Rain. When you are not... do you understand? You can't stop rain from falling. But for those ones that you cannot stop from happening, what can you do when they happen? So there's something called avoiding risk. You avoid risk. There's something called mitigate risk. There's another one you call transfer risk. So these are things that are very important in project management. Do you understand? So if you cannot prevent the risk, then you should mitigate them. Plan to mitigate them. Awesome. I'm waiting for the screen to come on so that we can go ahead. So these are really awesome. So can you see that in her? Mom also said something. She said she didn't know that literally everything is a project. That she thought it was just final year project, our project. Awesome. So now you know that literally everything. I don't know if you had come when I said something. I said our life is a project. For people that came in later, I said your life is a project. So if you are a human being, trust me, you're a project manager. So why not just then learn how to manage the project better, right? So awesome. So these are really awesome points. We've looked at, can we go through, I will see if we've been taking notes now. Can we just, while we wait for the screen to come up, can we go through everything we've done so far? In P3 Express method, what are the activity groups we have? Yes, what are the activity groups we have? What's the first one? Project initiation, monthly initiation, weekly initiation, weekly management, daily management. No, there's something before project closure, boy. Well done. There's a closure before project closure. Monthly closure. Then after monthly closure, project closure. Then after project closure, post-project management, which we'll look at. So while we're still waiting for the screen, under monthly initiation, we talked about a few things. What did we talk about? What's the first step? Wait, first of all, how many activities are under project initiation? 10. AO10, AO1 to AO10. So can we try? Let's try. What's the first one? Appoint the project sponsor. Appoint the project manager. Key team members. Describe the project. Thank you so much for that. So what's the next? Identify risks and plan for them. What's the next activity? Yes, peer review. After that, you can notice that some of this, you can even say it off the top of your head because you know what comes afterwards, right? So when you get a no-go after the activity, what's next? You kick off the project. After that, good. So if you didn't take notes, I don't know how you want to manage the project after this meeting. Maybe you just get the book. So under monthly initiation, I think we had like 4 activities or so, 3 or 4. Let's just go through them. Can we have the screen? Okay. What's the first one? For monthly initiation. Okay. Reviewed. Again. Kick off, yeah? And I think there's one last one. Conduct it. Awesome. So we've done weekly, right? Weekly management. So what are they? How many do we have under weekly? 4? Yeah. What are they? Awesome. Plan a response for risk, right? Then. Yes. When things go wrong. Okay, great. What else? Right. What else? Good. So what if you notice? There is an activity that comes last for all of this. Who can guess that? Awesome. So it shows that, it's very important for you to always communicate at every phase of the project. So I think it was Ken that was saying he didn't know why they had to be doing weekly meetings. He's always like, why are we meeting again? It's very important. aside from planning, you also want to carry everybody along. That way, you said earlier, like you said, align with goals, right? So you want to ensure that you are still on track with everything you've done so far. So what's the next thing we're supposed to go into now? Daily management. What does this mean from the word daily management? What you do every day. Right, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. So, thank you so much for helping with the slide. So, what's the first thing now? You can take notes. There was a point I wanted to jump into it, but I said we're coming to it, to the daily management. So, every day, our project manager, every day, it's important for you to manage risk, issues. So, issues are things that happen now. Risk are uncertainties that can happen in future. But issues are, from the word issues, problems, things just come up every day. So, you have to be ready to trash issues that same day, right? Again, I think Toby and Victor were at the Oyo project management stuff we had, with the trainer. She said something about a project manager is a what? Problem solver. Do you remember? So as a project manager, you are always solving problems. She said, I just, maybe because it's very recent, I remember so much of most of the things she said. She said, as a project manager, she loves solving problems. So especially for you that want to maybe take it as a career, or you are really serious about having it as a skill set, you must love solving problems. So when you see problems as a project manager, you don't run. What do? You face it and you solve it. So you're always thinking, because a lot of things happen. Let me give you an instance. This is a project we're working on, and we've already had the dates that, this is the time the content will launch and all that. Only for the social media manager to be saying, his phone is supposed to publish on Medium. His phone is not working with Medium. How? I don't know if you know. I think you're laughing because you understand what I'm saying. Medium is like a platform where you post, just like Facebook, LinkedIn. So Medium is where you publish long posts. What do we call it? Blogs and articles. So we're supposed to publish on LinkedIn, Medium, and Substack. So he has done Substack. Problem one, he did on Substack. He was the only one that can access the link. Nobody can access the link. One. Problem two, his phone is not working with Medium. How? I have to update the software. I just closed the message. I didn't run away from the problem. I was just thinking, how? Because you are the social media manager. We already have a date that this is when this thing is going on. How is your... Well, maybe we didn't plan for the risk. What if the social media manager's phone? But, what was the issue with LinkedIn? That, okay, I think he said... his laptop was not working or something. His laptop. So what am I trying to say? These are issues, daily issues. So imagine we're supposed to post before the end of the month, and this issue arises. If you don't solve them that day, or maybe you might not be able to meet your target of maybe end of month post and all. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So every day, you want to manage risk, all of those risks. You want to meet your custodian. Hey, is it Mr. Yinka? Well, the one that gave us the risk. You are the one for this risk. How far? Are we good? Issues every day. You do the same thing. So, okay, now change request. So your sponsor comes and says, Mr. Kwe comes and says, we need to remove the bouncing castle. There is no space, or I don't know. I'm looking for something. There is space here. The money is too much. Let's remove it. I'm looking for a change request that can scatter the whole project. So, what did he say? I didn't hear you. No, that's like a risk. We're talking about change requests. Like somebody coming to say, let's add this or let's remove this. Right? So she said, let's bring a seesaw instead of a bouncy castle. And maybe a seesaw is more expensive. If they want to bring it down here, bouncy castle is like balloon. They can just inflate, like, put it up here. But seesaw, they'll say, to use the motor that will bring it, blah, blah, blah. So Mr. Kwe comes and says, no, a seesaw, no more bouncy castle. As the project manager, what are you going to do? These are daily issues that you have to manage every day. So let's move to the next activity. No, let's go back. So, remember we talked about follow-up register. So these are the things that will be inside our follow-up register. Your issues. Say something. They say experience is the best teacher. Is that correct? Is that correct? Let's do it like this. If you think experience is the best teacher, can you raise your hand? One person, two people, three people. You're not sure. So if you think experience is not the best teacher, can you raise your hand? You have changed my question. Experience is not always the best. Do you want to talk to us about it? Yeah. Hello. Please, let's give him the mic while we wait for the slide. Best teacher. Remember, we're talking about lesson learned, so it's still part of project management.
So, from my own point of view, the reason why I said experience is not always the best teacher is because there are times where wisdom has to play its game, right? So there are times where wisdom has to play its game, right?
Okay, wisdom.
So in the sense that I don't need to stand in front of a trailer before I know that a trailer will kill me, right?
Obviously.
So if I'm standing in front of you, that's experience. But just because I've been able to garner enough from people and based on media and whatever I'm pillaging on and whatnot, has given me that sense of knowledge to know that if I stand here, then I'm probably going to be crushed. That kind of thing. So, in as much as there's in as much as there's the play out of experience, all right. So I still believe that in some cases it still has to do with your own personal
experience.
So your own personal, the wisdom you can get
Your
from
wisdom.
whatever it is that's happening.
Other people. Okay, thank you so much. Which point are you supporting? Mr. Okwe, do you know what we are talking about? Because
Okay, so he's spot on with his own points, right? So I think maybe what we are trying to say as experience is best teacher is experience as best teacher may not be your own experience.
Yeah.
We learn from other people's experiences. So you look at a situation that someone has gone through before, you are learning from that person's experience, right? So but from what he's saying, he may not learn from his own experience because he has seen other people, but also you also make mistakes even if you learn from other people, because you can't actually know the parts correctly 100%. You only see the parts that you only see the part that is visible to you. Because you are not like the project management, you are not in the weekly reviews, you are not in the daily reviews with that team entirely. You only see the outcomes and how they handle situations. You may not necessarily see how they weighed the options during their weekly reviews.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Is that what he has said what you wanted to say? Let him talk.
Yeah, I said what I wanted to say. So I wanted to say experience is the best teacher.
Experience is the best teacher.
So where we separate it is it personal experience we're talking about?
Personal experience
or other people's experiences. If you're looking at experience generally, we all learn from experiences. But if you're talking about it must always be your own personal experience. Then that's a different
so is personal experience the best? How do you put it now? Is it personal experience the best teacher or other people's experience the best teacher? Personal experience is the best teacher. Let's hear Pastor. Please give him the mic.
That's just what I know. That God is the best teacher. There are many things that experience, yes, you go over it and all that. That does not mean you will know it. It's when God begins to open your eyes, the Holy Spirit begins to open your mind, that you get to know some of those things. Several of us, we have made mistakes and we have repeated it over and over and over and over again. And nothing has happened. We have not learned from it. So experience, to me, that's from my own part, is God, Holy Spirit is my best teacher.
Let's give him a round of applause for that perspective. Thank you so much, sir. So yes, Holy Spirit is the best teacher. I was able to agree much more. I agree, of course, but I was able to agree much more because he said you might have done something over and over, but you still are not learning from it, right? And that's why it's good that it's best God to teach you. Yes, thank you so much. So what brought us to this, Steph? We're talking about lesson learned. So it is important to have learn from other people's experience. So that way, you save yourself the trouble of going through what they had gone through, right? It's just normal life principle. They say if you want to make it in life or something, or you want to achieve something, follow who know road. So if you want to get somewhere, it's best to ask somebody that has been there, walked the path, and the person will help you get there. So are we good? So what exactly were we trying to also explain? I think daily management, right? What was the first thing we said in daily management? What was the first activity? So I'm sure that we now understand the difference between risk and issues, right? If you are to differentiate between a risk and an issue, what would you say? What is happening now? Awesome. How about change request? Change request. Awesome. I like that word. A tweak. So somebody comes and say, let's change it. We said seesaw instead of bouncy castle. So you must be able to manage change requests. So before you accept change requests, you want to check, is it in line with what we are doing currently? Is it going to affect the overall project? So my project manager, before you accept any new changes, make sure that if you accept that changes, it's not going to disrupt what you're working on. You understand? So you have to be very intentional about it. So can we move ahead? This is what I was talking about, lesson learned. So your lesson learned has to be in the follow-up register as well. So let's move. Remember we talked about custodians. Who can remember who a custodian is? Thank you. Someone in charge of the risk. So you say, Ken. Okay, fine. Be the one in charge of this particular issue or this particular risk. So let's move. We're going towards the end already. So each follow-up item must have a custodian. I talked about this already. They follow up on updates and all. Yes, each of the things happening, they're the one in charge of it. Let's go back. Let's just touch on that a bit. So each deliverable must have a custodian, obviously. So we said we wanted to, a deliverable is that we cook rice. Do we remember that deliverable? So you want to put somebody in charge. You know, it's not just risk. You want to put somebody, you can't just say as a project manager, okay, we want to cook rice. We want to get seesaw. Don't expect that you, as the project manager, will do everything. It's going to be very disastrous. So you want to say, Toby, be in charge of ensuring that the seesaw or the bouncy castle gets here by 9 a.m. Shewa, be in charge of ensuring that the rice is cooked and brought to the venue by this time. So if you don't do that, you might not move faster and things might be a bit difficult. So make sure that every deliverable, every risk has a custodian. So let's move. So the second activity, can we say it together? Yes, so remember it said that it's very possible. We did that in the weekly management, if you remember. We said that Pete Express advises that ensure that your team members they don't have a lot of work in progress. Do you understand? So every day you want to check. Let's move to the next slide. You want to make sure that you are accepting deliverables that has been completed. Let's move to the next slide. A deliverable can be, one of your deliverables can be, call the bouncy castle guys to ask for their price and all that. So every day, as a project manager, you're checking, Shewa, have you called, or Shewa comes and say, I have called the bouncy castle guy. This is what he said. Before you tick it as checked, make sure let's move to the next slide. Make sure you ensure that she has really done. Now, you're not micromanaging her now. You are just checking to ensure that what she has done is true. Because if you see now, this is Shewa, the custodian. She says, our deliverable is completed, it's complete. I've done this. You say, great, let's take a look. So rather than say, great, well done, check. Oh yeah, what's the next thing you're supposed to do? Don't do that. Don't do that. It's just like the part of the content project I'm working on. Say, I've posted. If you say thumbs up and you just go, it will be maybe after hours or like 2 days, you now see that post he posted and it was nonsense. Or maybe formatting of WhatsApp was, I don't know if you understand formatting, all those dots. You're like, oh my God. So, but if you had looked at it, say, I'm done, you're done, Abby, what should you say? Let's go back. It says what? Let's have a look. Now, next slide. What does it say? Now, if you are satisfied, okay, everything's fine. Everything seems fine. Let's close it. So it's very important. So, P3 Express focuses on the minimal things that would help you achieve project success. And these are like some of them, right? A lot of things happen and you wonder, why do projects go wrong? It's as a result of little things like this. Good, so you want to, we're still on that daily management, right? You want to ensure that every day, before you accept the deliverable, ensure that it is complete and it is okay by you. So what's the next thing there? So, okay, you want to start. So he says, as a project manager, say, but we have 2 in progress deliverables. Isn't it better to finish them first? Remember what I told you about? Yes. So your team member comes and say, I've already spoken to the bouncy castle person. Let me do the next thing. You want to confirm, as the bouncy castle person approved, like, are you done totally before you go and open so many tabs? Just like on your laptop, you open so many tabs and you're not completing everything. That's it. Let's move to the next thing. So yeah, that's that about that. Let's go to the next thing now. So what's the next thing on our agenda? Awesome. So this is what is done from the word monthly closure. This is what is done at the end of every month. So if you have 6 months to manage a project, so at the end of every month, you want to do the following things. We have 3 of them. The first one is, what's the first one? You remember we talked about stakeholders at the beginning. Who did we define stakeholders as? Good. People that are involved, people that are impacted, people that are affected by the project. So we said the stakeholders here. Maybe so now if you want to evaluate the stakeholder satisfaction, I don't know, this children project now, we're not doing, it's not a monthly, we don't have months to plan for it, but let's assume that we have months to plan for it. So who are the stakeholders that we are going, let's move to the next slide. What are the stakeholders that we are going to evaluate their satisfaction that are? For month 1, we are done. How did you see the plans we've done so far, or the effort we've done so far? Who are the people you talk to? So if you have maybe customers, if any, if need be, right, your project team members, because they're also part of the project. Oh, guys, how well did we do this month? Other key people in the organization and other parties. So let's move to the next slide. So, but it's very important that you take, what is it called? You evaluate. And you can do this through different means. Maybe surveys or one-on-ones and all that. It's very clear. Let's go back. It's very clear from what you have. All these things, where do they go to? What is the first thing I told you that goes to the health register? The answer is the peer reviews. Do you remember that I said that hospital, because they've already analyzed your project and your peer reviewer says, oh, you should have done this better. So those feedback, you take them to the health register, and also the feedback from your stakeholders, they go to the health register. From the word health, in order for you not to forget, you want something to get better, health register. So let's go. Like I said, you can use icon, maybe in an organization, you want to talk to your fellow colleagues and all. You can use questionnaires or emotion stuffs to get it done. Do you understand? So when I mean, there are some guys that use these emotion stuffs more often. Thank you so much. GSDB guys, there's even this one I want to remember. All this financial stuff, banks, they can say, yeah, at the end of the month, they'll say, how was it? So they know that. Be sincere. They know if they send you questionnaire, you will not feel it. So you want to Pinterest to say, look for the way I told you that. Make sure that when it comes to stakeholders, you have to know what works for what stakeholder or for which stakeholders. So there are some people that you need to send forms to for them to fill, but there are some people that it is just this one click. I think Uber too, Bolt, InDrive, they do something. Just click. Are you happy or you are sad? Or I'm very sure that somebody had to devise this means as a solution for people not doing questionnaires, filling questionnaires. So let's go. Let's move to the next slide. So again, like I said, make it simple. Let's move faster now. Do we want to answer this question? What are the benefits of monthly satisfaction evaluations? I told you at the end of the month, the first activity is that we evaluate satisfaction. So why do we have to do this? Is it necessary? Is it necessary? Yes or no? Is it necessary? To get the evaluation of our stakeholders, how did we do? What's the end? Let's move to the next slide. If you want to answer, let me know. To what end? Why do we have to do that? So that you can know what to work on better. Simple. So what's the next activity here? Yes, like I told you how we already spent time talking about lesson learned. So you do this at the end of the month. Every month of your project, you capture lesson learned. Where are we taking those lessons learned to again? One of the documents, right? So, thank you. So, let's move to the third activity. Okay? Let's move. So, go back. Let's see what's there. So, talking about the stakeholders evaluation. So, you want to take their lessons, take the lessons learned, take the evaluation and say, what can we use? Which of these things can we use to improve our next month? I don't know if you get that. That's basically what this is all about. So another thing P3 Express emphasizes is facilitation and avoid anchoring as a project manager. So it's very possible to, one major skill of a project manager is facilitation. You must be able to get people to talk. Because you can say, oh, let's the day you as a project manager, you're the one doing all the talking. Let's do this, let's do that. No. P3 express is even literally like big on that. Your major role is to facilitate, and facilitating means getting people to talk. You don't necessarily have to be the one contributing the point, but there's a way you can facilitate that people will bring out points. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. That's just by the way. As a project manager, you must be able to facilitate discussions rather than anchor. Let's move to the next thing. Again, we have what? Conduct a focused communication. So let's move. Can we read it? Hey everyone, we've achieved the following for this month. So you remember at the beginning of the month, we started by saying, everybody, this is what we are doing for this month. Do you remember? So at the end of the month too, you do the same thing. Get everybody to know what you've achieved for the month. So let's go. What's the next on our agenda? Now, we are coming to the end of what you need to do in order to manage the project. So let's see. We have about 6 activities here. So what's the first activity we have here? Next slide. So, in this case, what can we term as our product like this? Our children party. Features? Cool, right? So the event itself, this one is an event project now. So the event itself, so for instance, there was a project I managed one time. It was to create a tech ecosystem report for your state. So the report itself is the product. Do you understand? Because that's what, I had to work with the content team, the design team, social, to make that report happen. So that report is the product. So the first thing you need to do, let's go back a bit twice, is to, under project closure, right? Let's go back a bit. Under project closure, so you want to make sure that you're what? Handing over. I'm done. Yeah, as a project manager, let's go. Let's go now fast. So in handing over, you want to be sure. Remember there are 4 documents. Can we list those documents? Those 4 documents. Project description. And else register. So these 4 documents. So you want to review them again. For the project description, when you are ending the project, you want to check, have we achieved the goal and satisfied all our requirements? Remember when we started, we said in our description, we listed all the goals we wanted to achieve, all the requirements that is needed to get them done. So when you want to close the project, children party. So you want to go back to your description and say, everything we listed here, that this is our goal, or did we touch everything? Until then, you can successfully say that we are done with this children party. Do you understand? So, again, are all items closed? You know that the items under these things are risk, deliverables. So, have we touched all the deliverables? So, there are some deliverables that will be finished. There are some that will be cancelled because we feel like we don't need it anymore. But there are some that will be transferred, maybe to the next children party or to the next children event coming up. So let's go now. Yes, the remaining task to take you to the maintenance team. That's if you are transferring. Let's go back a bit. That's if you are transferring any of the projects. So let's move on. So that one is more applicable in a contract project. Okay, who is the guy in blue? Cool. So she's the one saying wants to hand over the project. So let's go. Let's watch the story play out. Let's go back a bit. So you know that, let's go back a bit. Okay, let's move forward then. So this is I'm going to walk you through the whole process. When you are done with the project, there's a way to properly end a project. And that's what we are going to look at. So let's go forward. Let's enjoy the beautiful slides. Let's move. Right, let's move again. Let's move again. So, if you do number 2 of your daily management well, I told you that, who can remind me of number 2 is there? Of what you do every day. What's the second thing? You accept completed deliverable. I told you the whole process, making sure it's complete, making sure it's complete and all that before accepting it. So if you do it very well every day of your project, it makes your handover easy. I think I even already touched on this. So if you did not look at the whole thing very well every day, by the time you want to hand over the reports or hand over the project, it will be difficult because there's a compilation of issues that we're supposed to have been sorted every day. So let's move. So what's the next thing here again? We evaluate, we evaluate stakeholder satisfaction every month of the project. So stakeholder satisfaction, let's go to the next slide. At the end of the project, the same process, weather, science, and all of that. Let's keep going. But this one is for the whole project, simple. So the third activity, let's go back. The third activity here is what? Having a closing activity group peer reviewed. So you go back to, I think I've forgotten the name you gave us, Mrs. I said you can go to somebody else as your peer reviewer. So go to somebody else and say, okay, can you help? Let's move to the next slide. Can you help review what we've done so far? Do you think we closed everything? Did you think we did everything well? Can we read what is there? Those two things in star are the benefit of reviewing a project, of giving a peer reviewer. So let's read them. Okay? So when you peer review, it's easy for you to find problems solve problems as soon as possible. And it's also easy because you get to learn from the other person. Again, your personal experience is not the perfect experience or the only experience you should have. You should get experience from other people. And this is what I said earlier, that the person that should be your peer reviewer does not necessarily have to be a project manager, but somebody that has project management expertise. So let's move to the next thing. What is the next thing? Can we say it together? Good. So, we have, how many documents did we talk about here? 4. Great. So all of these documents, you now want to archive them, put them together. Let's see the next slide. For the sake of the next project that's like that. So, like we have on the screen, let's move faster now. It's invaluable for the next project. You want to ensure that this archived document you have is clear. It is well organized, right? It is future-proof. It's a future-proof file format. So when I mean future-proof file format, or when Peter says that, it means if you say you're using pen and paper, it's good you should document it pen and paper, but what if you get burnt or something, you can't access it anymore? So future-proof, you could have something like maybe uploaded on Google Drive. That one will always be there. So let's do that. Let's move. So these are just some extra stuff you should consider when archiving a document. Ensure that it is read-only. Yes. If not, I come and edit it. This is for if you are doing, you want to use Google Drive, right? So you want to make sure it's on read-only. Nobody can edit it so that they don't mess up with what you suffered to put together. So that way it is resilient and safe. So let's move. We're almost coming to the end. Yes, and it's accessible to the authorized people. So, of course, if you are going to put it on Google Drive, make sure your sponsor, if you want your pastor to review, the CEO, make sure they have access to the document. These are like simple things, but I should put in place. What is the final thing we have here? I expected you to say it like it is. Celebrate. So, that's it. What did he say to Dorime? Let's move to the next slide. So the reason why you fine, I understand that part. Say, what if the project? If you use this method, remember I said something when I started. I said this P3 method is like a what? A roadmap compared to a guide that just tells you like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, and at the end of the day, you're confused. You don't even know how to use it. You end up using your head. So there's a way P3 usually say, using your, when you try to, you see initiative. Now, initiative is not the word. When you try to do it with your head, I forgot it, there's a word it's called. So, what do you say? Is it intuition? Yes, intuition. When you try to use your intuition. So, many project managers or many people manage projects with their intuition. For instance, Mommy, if she had not come for this training today, she will most likely, there's nothing can tell me. She will most likely have done that project with her intuition, right? Okay, we need to go cry, so you do, But with this, now that she has taken notes, with this method, it's like a map. She now knows, let me know if I'm wrong. She now knows what to do every day of your project. Am I correct? She now knows what to do every week of your project. And that's why this P3 Express method works. And that's why its emphasis is on practicality. For instance, now, Mommy says she's a teacher. She loves teaching. She has not had any formal project management training. But trust me, with this method, she can stand with somebody that has like a PMP in quotes. I'm telling you, I'm being serious here, because you can say you have this certification, but you end up using your intuitions and try to apply big grammatical grammars that might end up confusing you. But you have just learned this method in less than 2 hours, and I'm sure you can deliver a project successfully. Are you excited to have learned this? Can you celebrate? So let's move to the next slide. So you need to celebrate because it's an investment for future projects. Let's go. Before we move to conduct a focused communication, again, another reason why you need to celebrate as a team is that it helps motivate the people in case of future projects. So if the people you worked with now, after the whole children party, you decide to say, you committee members, oh yeah, let's go out, just go and chill out, you guys did well and all that. When next you want to have another children party, and you call them, will they answer you? What did he say? So exactly, I think Peter said that. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, so you can decide to put it in the budget. You can also decide to say, as the project manager yourself, especially if you're in an organization where you get to manage project often. As a project manager yourself, you can say, okay, I'll just do this from myself, because at the end of the day, it makes work easy for you. So if I know that these are my team members as a project manager, and I know that we always work on several projects, I always want to make them happy, right? So I'm a part of a team, and we completed something, and we're so tired. We finished late in the night, and our project lead just came and said, he just brought out shawarma. Fine, shawarma might look like shawarma. But trust me, everybody jumped and gathered and just, we're so happy. So there's a way it motivates people to want to do things and all of that. So what's the final thing here? Again, you do this. Let's move to the next slide. Again, we're coming to the end. You do this again. Hey, everyone, we have finished our project. You shout it the way you shouted that we started something. Now you announce to everybody in the organization. Again, I didn't talk about something. You see this rectangle? There's like an inner circle, right? So the rectangle signifies everybody in the organization. And the circle signifies the people that are managing your own project. So if you notice, there's something I didn't say, is when you want to select your key team members, don't just say, it's very important that you have that circle. These are the people managing this project. You are a project manager in an organization. You have the IT guy, you have the designer. Don't say, okay, you are the project manager, you want to have, you can have a project in an organization, something entirely, maybe to create a new feature or something. So don't say, because you are the project manager, you can go and pick the designer. Like, I'm looking for the best way to put it. You want to do something. You now say you want to pick the designer from the big organization and say, come and do this. When you want to do maybe a website, you go and pick, no. Things will go wrong like that. They might not prioritize the project. So what you should do as a project manager is make sure you have a team, and that's why that circle is there. So that way, everybody inside that circle knows that they are committed to this project. Again, reasons why projects fail. A lot of project managers don't cut out that circle. They just feel, it's a project now, it will benefit the whole team. Nike from the admin department, come and do this. Write a letter to this person. You from the design department, do this and do that. I'm sorry, they might not respond to you, or they might respond to you, but issues would happen. But the moment you cut out that circle for yourself and say, okay, guys, we're a team. Of course, they still have the work they are doing for the organization, but they also know that we are a team for this project. Does that help somebody? Cool. So, again, you want to call everybody and say, we are done with the project. You are announcing, other people in the organizations can also get to know and be of help if need be. Let's move on. What's the next thing on our slide? That's all on project closure. Then finally, for this training, the post-project management. So you might be wondering, what is this about? From the word post-project management, what does it mean to you? After the project, obviously. So what do we do after the project? 3 activities. So let's move. Let's go to the main activities. Okay, let's go back. Let me talk on this one. So you want to ensure that this project management activities we are going to be looking at soon, it is done every 3 to 6 months for 1 to 5 years. I'm not going to dwell on. Mention this system is a whole lot, right? But I tried as much as possible to explain what you need to be able to manage the project. Understand? It's a full course. So I just went through all of that. So there's a place of portfolio management, program management in all of this, but I'm focusing on project management so that it doesn't get complicated for you just for today. So let's move to activity 1. So evaluate the benefit. So in post-project management, you want to say, remember you are done. So you want to evaluate the benefit. Was this project worth it after all? What were the things we were able to achieve after this project? You want to list all the benefits you were able to achieve from the project. That's 1. What's the next thing to do? Generate new ideas. So now, we've completed this party. This were the success stuff. I don't know what can be. Let's go back a bit. What can be a benefit? What can be some of the benefit of the children party? Awesome. I think that's a very key one. So because people they are sharing rice in my church, come, right? So you get more children to come. So let's go back to that place that shows us evaluate. Yes. So post-project management, you want to evaluate the benefits. Were we able to actually get more children to come? We have how many children in this church? We have 100 children. 200 showed up. As a project manager, activity 2 under Pinterest method says generate new ideas. What can we do to keep these 100 extra children? They know, you can't deceive them, they know that there will be no rice next week. So they might not call. I'm sorry. So you as a project manager, now your project is done, you've had a party, but you want to do, what can we do? So because you are having this activity group, you are able to think, what can we do? You're able to generate ideas. Okay, we actually had 100 more children. What can we do to get them to keep coming? What can we do? So that's what can we do. That new idea can become another project that got off this project. But that might not have been possible if you did not do post-project management activity group. And the 3 activities there, evaluate the benefits, generate new ideas, and what? Let's see the last one. Conduct a focused communication. Let's move to the next slide. Conduct focused communication is literally almost everywhere. So let's move. So yeah, the summary of all the benefits. So you come again and say, Mr. Sponsor, these benefits, these were the things we saw and all that. So right, so let's move. So that's literally all. Let's just see if there's anything left. So pretty much, we've been able to finalize from project initiation to post-project management. These are the activities needed for you to manage a project successfully. If you think that now you can manage a project from start to finish, can I see your hand? If you think that with what you know now, you can say, I can try to undo this project. I think I can actually undo a project success. Is it like you are shy of your competency or your new knowledge? Or do you understand? So that's the aim of this course. So the remaining things here are like NUPP, Universal Principles, Project Principles, Near Universal Project Principle, Tailoring, Development Methods, Code of Conduct, Certification Program. So these are the things you need to, if you want to say, okay, I want to now, with what I've learned today, I want to know more about the, project management, how to manage the project. Then you would now take the full course. Again, like I said, I ran through everything, but there are more details to it, aside from even this NUPP. So how to tailor the P2 Express method to your particular project and how to go about the tailoring all through. How to, the development method for these particular certifications, the code of conduct, because to be certified as a P3 Express practitioner, you need to understand the P3 Express code of conduct and everything you need to know about. You can just go, run through it and just to show them what was there. So once you're able to do this and understand this course, that's like the criteria for being certified as a P3 Prescott practitioner. So you can let me know if you're interested in the full course. Again, I have an ebook. Me, myself, I was managing a project of recent, and at some point, I got stuck, right? You know, I told you, like, it's like a roadmap. It tells you what to do. So all you need to do is identify your situation. Am I in, like, is it like a weekly stuff I am in, or I mean, like, the daily stuff? So when you go back, the ebook is like a summary of everything. So you know, oh, okay, I am in AO2. AO2, what's AO2 again? Appoint project manager. So let's say you are in AO5. What's AO5? I think plan deliverables and all that. So the ebook details everything, what you should do, how you should do. So it makes it easy for you. So you can let me know if you also want to get the ebook. It's only for 14,000 naira. The ebook, yes. So you can let me, let's go like a flash, just run through everything. You can let me know if you're interested. So at this point, I'll take questions at this point. Do I deserve a round of applause? Okay, so I'd like to take questions at this point. So the host, I don't know if you want to, yeah. You can just keep going. Let's keep playing them. Thank you so much.
Can we appreciate her, please? Okay, so I think it's been some 2 hours of a lot of content, a lot of education, a lot of knowledge. So I'm curious if you have specific questions for your project, for your events, or any other thing. I think this is a very good opportunity to ask. You can consult at least, right now you can consult her for free, because once she moves away from here, it becomes based on money, because as you mentioned, our ebook is 14,000 naira. Ha! Jesus is Lord. So if the ebook is 14,000 naira, that means 30 minutes consultation or 1 hour consultation will definitely be more than that. So, any questions? People that are handling projects in youths, any questions? You're all good. Okay then. Oh, mommy has a question.
I want to appreciate our auntie for coming around. In fact, it's a good time that we have come. My question is, with your daily activity, with the work you are doing on ground, how do we compile this with all these learnings and everything that we have learned? Can we be able to achieve all this? That's my question. Because we have the work we are doing on ground personally. So that's my question.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, for that question. Do you want to take it one by one? Okay.
Thanks so much. So if I get your question correctly, you're saying it's too much. Everything that you need to do is a lot. So are you going to be able to achieve everything? Okay. Okay. Well, as a project manager, maybe as a project manager, but I'm used to handling too much already. Right. So maybe, okay, let me see it from this perspective. As somebody that is not originally a project manager, but you are now tasked with the responsibility of handling a lot. So you are asking that, is it feasible to Yes, it's very feasible, especially with the right approach, an approach that tells you what to do. So, you know, I said it would have been more difficult if you are using your intuition, like your head, what do we do today, But now that you have something telling you, it's more like a map, like I said. It tells you what to do. So all you need to do is go back to your map. When I came here, I was using, the map and all, right? So the map tells you go like this, go like this. So what you need to do is to have that map that you can always refer back to. I don't know if that helps. And that's the P3 Express approach I'm talking about. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Faith, for that. Any other question? Oh, you have a question, Inamila. Okay.
Sorry. Good afternoon. So the question I want to ask is based on the documents that you're supposed to archive. I think, yes. What exactly is supposed to be in that document? Yes, I know. Yes, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So she's asking for, can you hear me? She's asking for the document that should be in the archive, that should be archived. I think we talked about 4 documents, right? What are they? Project description, deliverable map, follow-up register. What does follow-up register houses? The risks, the issues, the change requests, the improvement plan, and the last document,
Health register.
health register. What does that health register capture? Feedbacks from peer reviewers and all that. And lessons learned. Yes, lessons learned, I think it's in the follow-up register. So these are all the documents that will be in the archive, that you archive into one document. I don't know if that answers your question. So pretty much. So that way you can have this, you can always refer back to this document for subsequent projects. Does that answer? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Rinda Mola. I think she has a question. So.
Okay, thank you so much for the enlightenment so far. So I want to ask about the project closure. So you said, okay. Sorry, according to what was I jotted down. Okay, hand over the product. So what does, I want you to please explain more better, as a project manager for the event, the event that we were working on, according to the example you gave, event for church and all that. So hand over the product, what does that entails?
Okay, thank you so much. I think I get that. So you are saying that based on this particular project we discussed, Abby, that what will be the product in this case? I said it that, this one looks a bit dicey because it's an event. Yes. So the product in itself, the event in itself is the product. A successful event is the product. So you can say, oh, we have successfully done this event. So you've handed over the product. So, but I gave another example of a report I worked on, a project report I worked on, where like about a tech ecosystem report. So I'm saying that report, that one is more tangible, it's a report. So that one is the product that you can hand over. So, but for an event, the event in itself is like product. Is that clear? You want to say something?
Yes. Who will we handle the...
Who sent you message?
Okay.
Our question is who do we hand it over to? So who sent you before? Who? The sponsor. Yeah.
Okay, and about deviation. So, if I should get what you said right earlier, you said we are going to call your team members.
Yes.
And when deviation occurs, so you call your team members. But earlier, when you started the training, you said the sponsor will be the one you are going to appoint first. So,
you know that after we appoint the sponsor, we did not do anything, if you noticed.
Yes.
So we didn't do anything. What was the next thing we did? We appointed project manager.
Yes.
We didn't still do anything. We didn't say we are carrying paper or documenting anything. So what was the third thing we did? Then we had team members.
Yes.
So you can't think of any deviation yet because from that point of being having the sponsor, you already have the team member as number 3, and that's why it has to be the number 3 tag. So a lot of people make the mistake of bringing in their team members after they themselves as project manager, you have done all the thinking and everything. So P3 Express, that's why we have it as number 3. Bring in your key team members at the beginning. That's the initiation of the project. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and
Looks
I want
like
to
your
ask,
question is getting questions. Okay.
like kick off the project. Can you explain better?
So you just say from the word kick off. Let's start. It is after no go or
so
go
does that
reaction.
mean executing
Yes,
the
yes,
project?
yes. That's what it means. So like, let's start project after you get a go. So you can only kick off when you get a go. If you don't get a go, you go and close the project, like I said earlier.
All right, thank you very much for those questions. I think he has a question too.
All right, thank you. I have 2 questions. Now, in an organization, maybe a company, like take for instance now a construction company. Now you are a project manager.
Construction company.
Yeah, you are a project manager in the construction company, and you have 2 projects to actually execute simultaneously at the same time. Now, how do you do that? Now, take for instance, maybe as a construction company, they want to construct a road. Now, you have to work with surveyors and all other people, and simultaneously, they have another project that's, okay, we want to create like it's still in line with the road construction, but we want to create like a social media follow-up, okay, for the process by which the road is being constructed. Like, okay, we want to let people know that, okay, this is the stage that we are now. Okay, we are almost at the, and you have to work with a lot of people like that. So how can you, in choosing key team members, is it necessary you have a set, a theme for the construction, basically, just for the construction and also for the social media follow-up, or you join both together? Will you answer that? Should I go to the next question?
Let me answer this one. So it's okay. I don't feel really heard with this mic. Can I? Thank you. So you can juggle multiple projects. I mean, people juggle a lot of projects. So, but to answer that, for me, the way you said it, the social media project appears to be in line with the first one you said. So let me answer from two perspectives. So let me answer it from perspective of what if you have two projects that are not similar? Let me use that. I think that's what you're trying to ask. So if you have two projects that are going different direction and you are the same project manager managing them, most likely there's a different team. That's if they are different, if they are like solely different projects. So, but it depends on how you set up the whole project. So if it's like one organization, but you have two agendas, and the two agendas can be sorted or fixed with the same team, why not? You just know that you have two products to hand over. Do you understand? At the end. So, but if they are like maybe two different organizations, maybe like a freelancer, you're a freelance project manager, you're working with this place, you're managing this project as well. Of course, there are two different teams. So it's you that will just know that it's you that you have work to do. You'll be meeting with this team weekly, you're meeting with this team daily, you are checking. So it's you that has the bulk of work to do, but it's very possible, very, very possible. Okay. You can give me the mic.
If I understand what he's saying very well. Now, you need to, it's a project, okay, this is the project, but that project, especially because of the end users and all that, you need to create an awareness about that program, about that project. So, doing the awareness is a project on its own, but it's within that project. So, the question is, the same team that you are using for the main projects, will they probably need another team for awareness? Well, just maybe my shipping my own idea is, usually what I know is when you want to create a team, it's better you create people of like mind and people that have expertise in that what you are doing. If you are creating probably a project, road construction and all that, yes, you need civil engineer, you need a surveyor, you need structural engineer, and these are the team members. Will these people be able to create awareness? It may be no. That you need an expert, people who know how to communicate. You need people who know so much about it. So there could be a separate team, especially people that have expertise in communication, in relating and all that, because that is a project on its own. And we do that a lot in health sector. That, okay, yes, you have different teams, you are working on this project and all that, but that thing and all that, we need people who can communicate with people, who can design ideas, who can design things that can make people to relate to what you are doing. So sometimes within projects, you can have different teams. We have sub-teams who are managing this, who are doing this and all that. But the most important thing is that the essence from what you have said is that this is the actual work. This is the exact thing and all that. There is a team. So that team that is working on the awareness and all that, this other team have idea of what these people are doing, so they will not do things that negate what they are doing. I think that's just my hope.
Thank you so much for the contribution. I also think you've answered the question. So I can see it in two ways, right? I can see it in two ways, yes. I can see it in two ways. What you are saying now, both, you said construction, you said social media. These are just different benefits or different purposes of your project. Remember, in our project description, we are inputting all the benefits and we're inputting all the project. So all you are just doing is that you are stating it clearly in your project description that these are the benefits. So who are the people, the team members needed to achieve these benefits? So you can include the social media guys and all. So then the other perspective, which she said you can have a project in a project. Very correct. So when you have a project in a project, it's no longer a project management stuff. Now it's now a program management. Program management. Do you understand? So managing two. You added to your question. That is your question. So when you are managing like 2 or more projects, it's no longer you are now a program manager because you are now managing this project, this project, this project. So when you are managing multiple programs that has project, it's no longer that becomes portfolio management, and you're a portfolio manager. So your next question.
All right, thank you. My next question goes thus. In an ongoing project, but the sponsors, they see that, okay, this project manager, the plans and everything, the project plan, they don't see a good end to it. Like the project will fail. Now, so what can you do as a project manager? They have actually called you and sat you down and say, this plan that you brought.
Could they work? So your question is, what can you do as project manager? Who knows what you should do as a project manager? We answered it. Carry yourself and your team. Just go and close the project. That's what you have to do. I'm sorry. So we talked about that if your projects, because it's very important actually, you should not wait for your sponsor to come and tell you that your project is going to fail and you should close. You should be, according to Peter Express, you should be the one to carry yourself and your project plan and take it to the sponsor and say, will this work out? So if he says no, just close the project. I think I did some illustration and then, is it better to fail or better to be pained that you did so much work and you could not continue? He said it's better to be, that you are ending it and you are not failing at the end of the day. Thank you. Your questions.
Okay, so my question is 2 things. Number 1, the first thing is, you mentioned that it's good to bring your team early, right, within the project. So I'm privileged, I've been privileged to handle multiple projects and also still handle multiple projects. And one thing I've realized is that for me, one of my principles is that at the very beginning stage, you don't want to have a crowd. That's something I've seen that has worked, because when decision making is democratized across a large amount of people, you tend to make less progress than you would expect. So what I mean by that is, if you are waiting for decision, like you're trying to bring everybody and try to get everybody's opinion and try to get everybody's feedback or buy-in, I've realized that with a large crowd, if you have 7 people or 12 people or 15 people, as the team members expand, the ability to make decisions, or the agency and the urgency to be able to make decisions and make progress begins to reduce. I've been able to manage projects of that have 20 people, projects that have 30 people, from projects that have 5 people and 3 people, and realize that for me, it seems as though when you have decision making less democratized, right? Definitely you get buy-ins, you get feedback. But when you have decision making less democratized, it seems as though it makes things go faster. So I'm just curious on.
Okay, let me quickly answer that. Yes.
I'm in the wrong.
No, you're not. So in P3 Express, I'm not sure that slide was part of it. Like I said, the slide is a lot more than this. So there is a slide that shows centralized management and decentralized management. So centralized management is when you have one person that makes most of the decision, and that one works more for projects that are not micro projects. So that kind of approach you're talking about, where everybody looks like everybody has to give feedback, works for a micro project. And from when I started teaching, I showed that micro project has how many people? 1 to 7, right? So when you have 1 to 7 people, all of you are the project managers in the sense, all of you. So that's what we call a micro project. So this is P3 Express. There is micro P3 Express. So if you want to learn how to manage micro projects, where in a decentralized project where all of you make decisions, so you have to now learn about micro project, micro P3 Express. It works more. But I'm saying that it's not, so when you have 20 people, it's no longer a micro project. So there should be one person, which is a project manager yourself, that can make solely a decision. So rather than say, You don't want to add the important people because you're afraid that their feedback might draw back the project. If you also noticed, in project initiation, the planning phase, who noticed what we wrote as number 3? What's the third thing there? Appoint sponsor, appoint project manager. What's the third thing? Can we say it again? Emphasis on what? Key team members. So when you are planning, don't call Bogbero. Like, you need, let's say you need 20 people, normal, to get this done. So when you are doing the planning, before you start executing, so it might just be 5 people that are needed in the planning. Maybe 1 person from each of the team, maybe 1 person from the design team, 1 person from the content person team. So that way, you are not expecting 20 people to give you feedback. So that's why in P3 Express, we say appoint key team members. But don't make the mistake of not letting those key team members be part of the execution, guys. I explained that, because they might not give in all the work effort because they know at last, I'm not going to execute it, so they might not give their best. So you want to ensure that the people that are key team members get to execute the project. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
What is missing?
No, nothing is missing. So my question, I'm just trying to ensure that I'm not making like what you said basically aligns with what I think, so I'm aligned. Okay. My second question is, I don't know if it's covered in this syllabus, but I think you mentioned it as program management. So, okay. For someone that probably would be managing, like you have like project managers that are managing different projects under you, right? What is the best way to ensure that you're able to get them aligned with the grander vision? Because now you're no longer focused on you're not just focused on necessarily specific goals of like maybe a quarter basis. You're focused on things like across like a year, or across 2 years, or across 3 years. And so I'm just curious on what the timeline for aligning, right? Because I know you mentioned there's monthly, there's weekly, there's daily. So for a program manager, sort of, using the definition, for a program manager with multiple projects, is it also going to be monthly, weekly, daily kind of?
Thank you so much.
Stuff?
I'm happy you asked that question because now, I didn't say, somewhere in the slide, part of the things I said I didn't teach here, but it's in the slide here. P3 Express actually means the 3rd level, and that's project management. So we have P5 Express, P4 Express, P2 Express. Yes, do you understand? So if you see the other part before, it's there actually, but I didn't. So what did you say by the book? So P3, the reason why it's not P3 because they just were thinking of a name. It's P3 because it means project management. So for what I just trained you on today is for project management. So if you now want to learn how that would work, that would be for P4 Express, because P4 Express is program management and P5 Express is portfolio management. But I'm trying to think, I'm not sure. I know P2 Express is still coming, it's not yet finalized. P2 Express, that's for technical management. So under P3, we have the second one, that's like technical, just with the team. Yes. So there's one for team. There's one, I think maybe that's P1 Express for team leaders. So rather than, what did you say? There's no PF. So rather than you project managers, these ones are for team leaders, right? So I think that's like P2 Express. So what you are asking, what we just learned doesn't work for it. Because what we just learned is for project management. So it's how to manage the timeline within a project. So but when you're now talking about projects, and you're now looking at the portfolio, how to manage project, then that's P4 Express. So I'm not very sure if P4 Express is out. P3 Express is still like the one that's very popular, but because you asked, I'm going to ask Frank. Yes, Frank is the co-author. Yes, the program manager.
Okay, so this is a project. So you have a TT project. Maybe you have a Doxazo project. Maybe you have, so everything falls, and if it's one person that is trying to manage each of the project leads, he calls himself a program manager. So, but when he now expands to he also having somebody managing him, that person over him is a portfolio manager. Maybe the person managing this program under this ministry, this program under this ministry, this program under this ministry is a portfolio. But like you have mentioned, we are also, maybe for people that are interested, I hope we don't have to pay for that, right? So
you've not even paid for this one yet.
So I think it's also, and also a if we have to look into the P2 also, because not everybody may be project managers at the point in time, they may be necessary key team members. So what do they also need to do to ensure they support the project manager, and also maybe people in the team of the key team member. So
thank you so much. So yes, like I said, I'll ask Frank. Frank is the co-author of Peter Express, my mentor. I'm going to ask him. So, but just to answer that question, I think I think